Hello, welcome to
Harrison Stream.
this is Fragments, our Demiplanes of Dread campaign, playing weekly over here.
Harrison Stream.
Harrison, the DM, we are going to have our players go around and just say who they are, who they're playing tonight, and what their character's favourite animal is. And we're going to go in overlay order, and that is starting with Jack.
Hello, I'm playing. My name is Jack. I'm playing Vanessa Lucidia, and I think Vanessa's favorite animal is probably the moth.
The moth. Okay, thank you. Next is Luca.
I am Luca Locke, and I think Whisper's favorite animal would be seagulls.
Seals or seagulls?
Seagulls.
Okay. And next is Alex.
I am Alex. I am the Mark Cartographer. I am playing Hazim, and Hazim's favourite animal, because he'd never seen one before until his last station, is a peacock.
Okay. Excellent. Good animal choices. I'll make a note of all of these.
Yeah, me too, otherwise I'll forget.
So anybody wants to remind me? Oh no,
What
Jack.
is what's this this stranger named Strahd? What's his favorite animal?
His favourite animal is a toad.
Interesting.
Yeah. Who wants to remind us what happened last time for a nice big fat point of inspiration? A lot of things happened last time. Oh, Jack and Luca both nearly volunteering. No one going for it?
I mean, Luca, if you need the
No,
inspiration,
go
you
Jack,
take
go
it.
Jack.
No, you take it because you.
The last time, what happened?
Okay, so we started out in a vault having fought a sword spider, which was fun. And I managed to get in a short rest, and I was really hoping for a long rest, but then it was pointed out that despite going down so many times and having such a rough day, it was really just brunch time. So I just had a little bit of a nap on the bed of the person that has books from both Forgotten Realms and 20th century Earth. So that's interesting. We also found a magical mnemonic tube. What's the
Pneumat's trick tube. Pneumatic tube.
Pneumatic. I knew it was one of those PN.
I
So
never realised that was the play on words. What an idiot. Oh,
Wait.
What? Hold on. You didn't?
No, so you guys might not necessarily know.
I didn't know this.
So the tube is called NU mat, as in it's Pneumat's tube. But it's obviously, you've only heard it through what it sounds like. It sounds like pneumatic, but I'd never even
Yeah, Pneumat's
put
trick
that
tube.
together. What an idiot.
Fucking nerds.
For context, he used this for like 100 sessions in Curse of Strahd as well.
But I got given it. Well, it was. I always just refer to it as trick tubes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, derailed there.
Sorry, Luca.
yeah. So
Wait, the guy we think was called Strahd. Slow coach.
So we figure out this tube thing, and then Vanessa starts getting strangled by something that isn't there, some unseen force that we cannot seem to find a way to see. So we boogie it out of there. The spider tries to come out, but we get out of there, and then continue on until we find some ghostly dude that keeps referring to his master. And he's all blue and glowy and very upset, and we again boogie loose, and then we get out into the forest and are like, yay, off to Fort Watton, we'll survive, maybe. And we're coming up with a plan to hide all the loot and all of that, and then some crazy thing in the tree that reminds me very much of Discworld Auditors starts talking about how we have some fancy token on us, or talisman or whatever, that was referenced in the papers that we found. And starts chasing us and finding us, and it's got this like effect as it does so, and we just try and book it and run, and we manage to destroy it.
Just
You say we.
for clarify, what was the noise that it made? Is it flu? Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah.
accurate.
Worth the inspiration.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely worth inspiration, Luca. Does anybody want to add anything else?
We established that it was the arrowhead that was the talisman because you'd had to ask out of character who had the arrowhead. So we made you confirm it in character that that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Then let us get back to where we were. The figure, if you remember, Hazim went absolutely bananas on this thing in his last turn. All of the stars came together, all of the action surges, and yeah, he absolutely shredded it, which led to its
With help.
Sure, other people distracted it. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. Those frostbites were clutch.
They were clutch frostbites. Let's get through to
Don't forget it.
the immediate aftermath.
Yeah.
So yeah, the creature crumbled to the floor. Vanessa, heavily wounded, it cast a spell that absolutely battered our Vanessa, so it did. And now, yeah, it collapses to the floor. I described how it came apart as being like just almost chunks of clay almost, but bleeding profusely.
Yeah, I remember Whisper was dashing away, but when Hazim felled that that robed thing, Vanessa did call back to her and told her to stop, come back.
Does this look more like a construct that is bleeding versus a person like with like clay armor or a clay suit or anything?
We know that it's not a construct because the spells I was able to cast against it were effective.
Yeah, so it's almost some kind of hybrid thing. It didn't have a mask on, did it? That was its
Correct.
head.
Did not have a mask. To remind you what it looked like. You like that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over and kind of like hand to, I guess its neck, or just to see whether it looks like I have done the job. Like I'll take a knee next to see if it's dead.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be. It's almost like not melting, but like at the joins, it seems to just be slowly peeling and just like flopping apart. Like whatever held its pieces together, that force is now diminished, and slowly it's just drifting back into the ground.
Is it basically leaving like a clay ceramic husk kind of thing?
Yes, it is.
Vanessa is going to stagger over there, and you can tell, Hazim, that she is pissed in a way that you have never seen her this angry before. But she's got her magnifying glass in her hand, and she just kind of, in a huff, squats down, and just wants to take a moment to see if she can identify anything about this creature, if there's like what kind of magical construct it might be, or what kind of magic is maybe keeping it together.
Yeah. While she's doing that, I'll be going through the robes while she's doing a bit.
Okay, make an Arcana check for me, please.
Yes. For some reason I can't open up Vanessa's profile. It's in summons for some reason. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
You
Otherwise,
should just be able to hit C to open your character sheet. Is it not working?
yeah, it's not doing that. So I don't know.
F5 then.
Not sure. Yeah.
But I'll just I'll F5. If you want to roll for me here, so you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Du-du-du-du-du-du-du. A 10 plus what? Half your proficiency, or your proficiency is it? You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sorry, my proficiency is doubled for it.
Doubled. Okay, yeah. So it's really taking that on. So 12. Looking through, you find that from the visible sections where it's coming apart, there are some organs. There are not all the organs that there should be. There is definitely magic and biology and crafting all at play here. You do notice as you're looking over as well that true to the art, the image, although the eyes have now gone dull, that tattoo on the palm of the hand is there, and it does continue to glow, although it is notably fading as the minutes go by.
What's it tattoo of?
It is a tattoo of a skull in a ring.
Is it just a ring, or is it like runes and stuff? It's just
It is.
solid ring?
It is a ring. Yeah.
Because it looks kind of okay.
Do I recognize that symbol?
All of you make me a history check. Do you need me to make yours, Vanessa, or are you back in it? Oh no, she's at it. She's at it. Oof. None of you recognise the symbol at all. You obviously are familiar with skulls. I would give. Actually, are any of you proficient in religion? Take that side
I don't
as a no.
believe.
Okay,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that no, none of you recognise it at all. You're obviously familiar with skulls. Skulls pop up everywhere, but that particular combination, and especially like a sort of hand tattoo, is so distinctive. Not something you're familiar with.
If it seems to definitely not be moving, and Vanessa's over looking at it, I will kind of wander over as well. However, I am frequently scanning the tree line because it was like floating up into the branches and stuff as well. So are you
Hazim.
done looking for now, Vanessa?
Hazim.
What?
And she'll just kind of look up at you with this really intense stare. Take this, and she just shows, like, lifts up his arm and shows you the hand.
Okay. And while she's kind of like holding up, I just kind of like I'll bring it around and put it straight up at the wrist.
Just
Is that part clay or is that part flesh?
It cuts through like clay, but even though when you look at it, you don't see veins or capillaries or bone, but it seeps with blood on both ends, despite the lack of tubing that would suggest it could be doing so.
When he does that, does the tattoo, is it still illuminated but fading, or is it just completely shut off?
It's still there, but it is still fading away.
So she'll take the hand, just give it a once over. She seems fixated on it for a moment, while whispers, I guess, looking around still, or?
So over the table, you actually did what I was considering doing. I was gonna flay it off the palm, but you got it sorted. So I will just watch you guys handle that and step back.
Yeah, I was gonna do the search through its robes. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. An investigation check. You find inside the sleeve, as you sort of pan it up and down, you almost like your fingers brush past something that when we double back over is not there, and it's only through like sort of repeated sort of checking and testing you realise there was something inside, like just sort of stitched inside the wrist of the robe, and it is like a pencil length, very thin sliver of like yellow glass or resin.
I'll kind of like rip open, offer it up to Vanessa. Doesn't have any other items on it, no pockets or anything like that. Let's lift
there is an there are no pocket. Yeah, this thing has not been wearing. It isn't like there's pockets. There was a bit of lint, there was something there earlier. You notably a lack of storage space on this. Combined with the fact that it maybe didn't seem alive, you could perhaps surmise that this wasn't something that really went around with possessions.
Sure.
I'll take this sliver, and I will too give it a quick look over, unless that was a part of the initial check.
But it's pretty comprehensive as search over. It's okay. There's not many layers to it. I imagine you sort of fold them over, and it'll be clear to everybody.
She'll tuck it away and look to Whisper, knowing that she still has dagger, right?
The dagger or the arrowhead?
You have a dagger, right?
I do,
because
yes.
when our equipment got... Yeah, okay. I don't want to carry this entire thing. Do you think you could just take the tattoo?
Yes.
And she'll hand it off to Whisper.
No, I'll slice it off there. Lay it off.
Does the symbol look...
The body of Christ.
Either of you... What?
The body of Christ. Palm wafer.
Oh yeah, flesh or flesh. Does this look like anything either of you recognize?
Never seen it before.
Nothing like this.
You still have the arrowhead talisman.
Yes. And I'm gonna just double check that I do.
You do.
Okay, just making sure. But
I mean, you had it in your hand as you had it in your hand as you were sprinting.
No, she had the bag, right? She just snagged the bag, so she didn't necessarily. Yeah.
Well, either way, I'm verifying that I still have it.
Would you like me to keep hold of that, considering it seemed to track to one of these things?
Of course. And I'll hand the whole thing back to you. Well, I guess just the arrowhead and hand the bag back to Vanessa.
I just put her handbag up.
Yeah.
So I'll take the arrowhead and kind of hold it up. Does it look anything in particular? Does it look anything distinguishable? This arrowhead.
If you remember from the temple, which you probably won't because it was 12 weeks ago. It had a slight bit of the arrow shaft left on it, and that was rotten and old and blood-soaked. But the arrowhead itself, despite the grimy box it had been kept in, seemed to just remain flawless.
What colour was it?
Silver.
Silver. Okay. I'm gonna add that to my. There's not an item for that to drag onto me.
I believe Jack has it on him. I can transfer it
What's
over.
That?
The actual item for the arrowhead.
Oh yeah.
I can transfer it over to you. Yeah, you've now got that.
What do we do then?
We need to decide where to keep these things. I do not think we should part with the arrowhead, but the other things, we should decide where we can keep them.
I mean, clearly the arrowhead is the most important thing to these creatures. These notes, these letters talking about searching for one. This is clearly an object of great value, but how can we use this to get closer to Drakov?
I do not
Get
think
closer
we have
to-
enough information yet.
Why do we wish to get closer to Draco?
They are probably the only one here that actually knows what's going on in this land.
Then we must ask the question whether it is prudent that we reveal that we are also aware of such things. If nobody else knows, then that is for a reason.
Why I think we should spend our time avoiding much notice and gathering information. I still very much would like to go out and visit this camp of sorts of outcasts to see what we may find out there.
Do we wish to stash these things with the alchemist's fire?
Well, that was the initial plan until we got ambushed.
I am fine with that plan as long as it does not include the arrowhead, since obviously they can sense it somehow.
Indeed, and the people of Fort Watton apparently cannot. At least they have shown no interest in it yet. So I think it is fair to say that it is safe staying on our person. These other things, I think, would garner much more interest, and that is not something that I think any of us need right now.
Yes.
We do our
If,
duty.
even if it were found, it is a useless arrowhead, probably, could safely be assumed to be sentimental. The other stuff will definitely draw notice.
So
Great.
then we bury the valuables, the items that we found with the alchemist fire. We go back to the fort and then what?
I suppose we continue until there is an opportunity for us to head to Mortense. I do not think we can easily sneak out of the fort. I do not think that we could head there on our own unless we want to be seen as being runaways. There's nothing here.
I'm inclined to agree with Whisper. There's something that this knight who we found, or who found us in the woods, who saved us, and his encampment of apostates, if you will. I want answers from them. I want to know what their perspective is.
I bet it would be very different information than we have received thus far.
I'm absolutely certain it would be, but do we stay within the fort and keep good graces with Irina and the captain, or do we rest outside of the fort and head over there without any interruption, or possible interruptions from duties we may be handed while in the fort? They're going to want to know about that head.
Of course. I think I feel
know
it is
that-
easier. Whisper. No.
I know that you are wounded and I am exhausted. I don't know how much longer I can continue running.
Azim, do you think that if we bring the head in, we could leverage it as some sort of show of goodwill and maybe afford us some freedom?
No, I do not. From the interactions that we have had so far, I do not think that they see things like that. I think everything is duty, and perhaps the greater the deeds, then perhaps we will be sent to Mortense anyway, or perhaps curiosity will be piqued. I do not think it will be at our request that we are able to go. We can of course try, but I'm not convinced. But still, I feel easier and safer to earn those freedoms and be allowed to head out of the fort than us sneaking away. If we sneak away, then we have, for all we know, the entirety of Drakos and the Falcons after us from that point on. And we do not know this place well enough to make such a great enemy.
We don't.
Okay.
We played safe for
Let's
now.
try it, though.
We have a triad.
Don't know if that's a title worth keeping, worth having.
One worth
Thanks
keeping to
to
ourselves.
Yes.
I look around, DM, because we were kind of like under the canopy. Is this like a bit of a heavier bush area where this body would not easily be noticed?
Yes.
And we are pretty far from anywhere. Nobody's like even been near this owl's nest, right?
You are still like an hour and a half from the camp in a way that, in a direction that, but you saw that it just head pretty much up to very, very harsh mountains. They've described there being little game in Falkovnia. Few people would have any reason to come this way. The whole trek was off path.
Hazim, if you were glancing around looking like you wanted to do something with the body, I would very quickly burrow out a shallow grave for it, since I have a burrowing speed.
And Vanessa would know this, that Sacred Flame is radiant, right? It doesn't actually create physical fire.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say we can burn it, but I don't think we have anything to set it on fire with.
Do you think it burns? I have
If we can
tinder.
burn it, we should. If we can't, then we should at least try.
I will still dig out the shallow grave so that if we're burning it, it's in dirt and not in
Yeah.
I
the
would-
forest floor.
I would
Yeah.
suggest that we do not burn it. This body is not easy to see, but smoke, a day like this, clear days, eyes looking south to the border, I think we take our chances.
It's fair. Yeah.
And there's no blood. There's no blood spatter anywhere else apart from this dense bit, right? Because that was kind of like the only place it really got hit. Like there was like magic damage, but
Yeah.
I think it is easy hidden here.
And then, if Whisper, you don't mind digging a deeper grave, then do so. I don't want the sinking and getting out.
I will,
Yeah,
as she's
I'll
kind of like
dig
digging it,
more.
I'll kind of like cut some of the limbs off just so it's a bit easier to kind of like bury in a little bit.
This thing's gonna be gruesome when it comes back to life.
With no hand. The hand just becomes a creeping, what's it called?
We fine.
Crawl.
It'll strangle us in our
It's
sleep.
it's like Ash's hand from Evil Dead. Vanessa will just oversee the both of you digging out, just kind of like glaring at this flayed tattoo in her hand. Is it still glowing, or has the glow just kind of died out?
It is glowing very much. It's to a point where it's looking like it's a 10-year-old tattoo. It now looks about sort of when black tattoos start to go that dark teal before they start flaking off. It's looking like that now, whereas 3-4 minutes ago, it was like glowing emerald.
Yeah, Vanessa's just kind of fascinated and fixated on the degradation of this thing, so she'll just kind of watch the tattoo fade and let the others dig.
Cool. So yeah, a scrape is dug. What do we want to do with it? Just put it in and cover it up? I think Hazim originally was testing the waters for what we could do with it. What did you have in mind?
No, yeah, I mean it was 100% just hiding it. So
Cool.
yeah, I'm just gonna cut limbs off so it's just easier to bury. Yeah, and then we'll just cover it up, pull a bit of foliage over it, make sure that the area looks tidy enough.
Yeah, the limbs come away easier than they should. Like notably easier than even separating the hand a minute
really
ago.
strong. I'm really
Yeah,
strong, so I don't notice it.
strong, so strong. Yeah, but it is successfully buried. Plants pulled back over it if you want to, or shrub adjusted, astroturf relaying. There is now no sign of the shrouded figure.
Okay. We head further upriver. Perhaps we don't cross at the bridge, but we find another shallow. Stick to the tree line to the east of the fort. Head north along the road and hide our things. Try and keep out of sight as much as possible.
Well, so
Let us
you're
keep in mind-
wanting to go across the north of the fort?
No. So we're on the other side of the riverbank. Yeah, we're on the south
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah.
So we're gonna follow it along, and then the bridge is over to the east from where we're at. Right?
Oh, sorry. No, you're to the west of Fort 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna follow it. I was gonna follow the river back round because the tree line that we hit it in was like northeast of Fort 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess follow the river because it's gonna be safer than heading into the deep forest and stuff. So
Yeah. I'm just thinking, unless I've misunderstood, I thought if you were trying to come on the road to Fort Watton from the south, you'd remember that there's no way you're sneaking past that fort because like it's next to the road and there are guards. It would just be seeing someone walk past on the dirt path, unless you're going to go into the trees past it. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're not gonna. So we're not crossing the river until we've gone way beyond the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Vanessa and Whisper both happy with that?
Yeah, I'll say Vanessa's sticking to the back, so just in
Okay.
case something tries to come up to the front.
So it
She's still very hurt.
takes a couple of hours. By this point, you get to the bridge from the south bank, but keep passing it. You can see that over the bridge lies where you came from the temple. You carry on past it for about another 30 minutes until the bank lowers enough for you to get back over. And you realise from tracking your position that you're probably in the southernmost side of the woods that you actually went into with Ludwig on your way to the you are in the south wood. You can just tell by the trees and just how long you've been walking. So you have technically gone all the way around, so you know that Fort Watton is to your northwest at this point. You are able to reach a point where you effectively go past Fort Watton. You can hear distant noises of it, and if anyone were to climb a tree or to peek a bit, you would see the palisades a good 300-400 feet away from the trees. But yeah, and are you effectively looking to pop out of the tree line north of the camp where you could hide your stuff with the alchemist fight Hazim?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that is doable. It's obviously added a good few hours from the circumnavigation, but yeah, you find yourself at the tree where you had the stash. And what is it you're looking to bury here? Which items?
I would say the
trick
books
tube.
and the trick tubes.
Yeah.
Did you take the uniform, or did you put it back?
Fuck, I don't want to bury the uniform, but I probably should, right? Yeah, I'll bury the uniform for now.
You did get
But when we leave,
you did get your more fancy cosmetic gear.
Yeah, I'll save it for a rainy day. But I will keep the scrolls though.
You're keeping
Just
the
not
2
the
spell
scroll case.
scrolls. Okay. Yeah. Sure. So, how are we handling these books? Are we wrapping them, or are we just getting them in the dirt, or are we?
We could probably wrap them, right? Do we have anything to wrap them in?
I mean, I'm carrying the owlbear head in a big tarp, basically, so could rip some of that off and give him a little fold up into.
Whisper.
I was just gonna say, like, we probably have something all similar to that in our packs, like an oiled cloth for making a pitch tent, like when we're out on the trail. So I would grab through my bag and find something similar.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever works.
Then the items are buried, and you are about 20 minutes north of Fort 1. It is now, by this point, mid-afternoon.
As much as it pains me, and I know that we all wish to rest, we should not approach the fort from the north road. We should head back through the woods and cross back over the bridge.
I agree. Keeps up appearances, doesn't it?
How are you holding up?
The sooner I'm able to rest, the better.
Who's leading the way? And can that person make me a survival check, please?
Do I get any bonuses as we've just walked this route?
No.
No. Okay.
What's that for a total off my screen's being slow? Okay, yeah. You, as you're travelling, you reach a point where you hear just the distant moans that you now associate with the undead. And you see a group of 3 who are about 800 foot away. It's the way these trees are, these tall pines, you just reach a bit of a moment where they've grown in such a way where you have a bit of corridor of sight and you can see that a good way away, 3 of them seem to have fallen on just the corpse of what looks to be a deer. You can, with that roll, notice, it's above a 10, you can notice from a far enough distance that you can absolutely warn people, warn your companions, and
Are they ahead
get
of us
by.
or off to the side?
Off to the side.
Okay.
You can absolutely circumvent this.
Yeah. So I'll just say to the others, like, there's more of them in the trees over there. They seem occupied though, so we should probably quicken our step, but don't give it too much thought.
It's fairly. It's mostly sort of pine, so there's a lot of that cushioning underfoot. Stealth. There's very little in the way of errant twigs. But the Southwood, you noticed on your way out to the guardhouse, the Southwood was fairly easy to navigate quietly. You bypass it. And how far south of the fort do you want to re-emerge?
Back on the other side of the water, so that we're coming across the bridge from the south.
Okay, yeah. But another hour. But yeah, you find yourselves approaching the fort for the fucking 5th time in the last 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, the fort is in the distance. Well, is approaching. You don't get the call down of what business. You clearly recognised by whoever's on the gates today, and the doors are just opened for you.
And does it seem like business as usual, or like do we see the same kind of like guards posted at the top? And
You
all
do.
that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
Did
seem-
my mate Cal set?
Yeah, absolutely. Why isn't that loading for me? Has the map loaded for you all yet?
No.
It's
Yeah.
still black.
Okay, let me just hit a reload on that one. But yeah, it's the day is carrying on. That should load now.
So we're just walking through, and I've got this big owlbear head basically strapped to my back, kind of like half poking out of like canvas wraps and stuff like that.
You definitely get a couple of looks, but I mean, I imagine it's well wrapped. It isn't revealed yet.
Sure.
That map still hasn't loaded for me, so I'm gonna load back to another map to force load that. And then I'm gonna. It looks like it may actually need you all to F5.
Working for me now.
Yeah, I'm reloading.
It's up for me.
Cool. It's up for everyone except the stream, which is very, very helpful.
Problematic.
Yeah, I will swap away from our stream overlay for a moment. I'll get that fixed back. So yes, you find yourselves back in Fort Watton. what would you like to do?
I guess I'll go. I presume we're heading straight to the barracks.
Oh, we should turn the head in, yes.
Then try and rest. Oh, it's been a long morning. My back is like just stiff, just carrying this thing now. Yeah, we'll head to the thing, head to the
guardhouse.
Yeah, the guardhouse.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if barracks you meant by like the guardhouse or like your own sort of billets. Yeah, you hear the hammering of a forge where you see people carrying logs around. You would notice as you pass the point where the approaching the guardhouse where those 3 horses were hitched this morning, they are now gone. So 3 horses that were here have now departed.
Do we know who those horses belong to, or were they just stock horses?
You did.
Those.
Try it.
Oh,
again.
the 3 guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, you find yourselves in the courtyard of the barracks, a few sort of forges working away. Maybe 10, 15 guards just going about their business here.
Do guards and stuff generally just get to come and go, or would we send for somebody? Have we noticed that people are just generally left to...
The uniform guards all seem to be moving around freely, like aware of what their purpose is, but not sort of checking in. You do get a couple of looks at why you're here, the same sort that you did when you came into gear up and when you came to deliver the speaker zombie.
Okay. We'll head up to, I guess, I don't know, I think we should probably go to Irena's over August.
Yeah.
Let's not skip the chain of command, so we'll go and see the captain.
Okay, so you're looking for Irina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as we're going in, I'll just say to one of the guards, is the captain in this morning?
She's a little hungover, but I'm sure she can come down and see you. Is it important business?
What do you think? And she kind of whips her head back and like tilts it back towards the owl head, the owl bear head.
And did you say it with that sort of sharp tone?
Oh yeah, she's.
Yeah.
I mean, she's on 5 HP right now. She's
Does she look beat up to fuck though as well? I'm presuming.
Depends how Jack wants. It was magical
Yeah.
damage, so I'll leave
It
it
was
up to
magical,
Jack's
so it's like
interpretation.
more like her. She looks exhausted and like her hair's tousled, but like not physically beat up.
Yeah. Begard sort of
Just
gives
like
you
she's
a
been
look.
through the ringer.
Begard gives you a look up and down. Says, what I think is you're the least useful of your bunch, so maybe don't talk like that, yes?
Don't
I just
try.
kept it. And a couple sort of laugh nearby. Is it just? Of course, wouldn't want anything to happen to me. Fearsome. And he sort of turns back to Hazim. He's like, I'll get the captain. Try and keep that one under control, yes?
She's her own woman.
And he heads in, leaving you in the courtyard with just a bit of an awkward air hanging over by him, because you might even hear like one sort of under the breath, ooh, as someone's working away Vanessa.
Yeah, as they're walking away, she's got both of her fists clenched at her side, and
I will go. Yeah, I will tentatively turn to Vanessa and say, let's try and rein it in a little bit for the captain, eh? Maybe a little bit more of that charm that you so often portray. And I give her a smile.
I'm sorry, I'm just feeling a little bit peckish right now.
Understood. We've not eaten for some time.
No,
You need
I
rest.
haven't. And you know when she's been saying this all to you, she's just been looking in the direction of these guys who are walking away. She's not even looked at either of you.
Go. We'll eat, we'll drink, we'll sleep. Hopefully we've got the rest of the day just to rest some. I feel that this has at least earned us that, eh?
Yes, I think it has.
And I'm kind of like, oh, like, because I'm at that point where, you know, I know that I'm so close to taking this this head off my back. I'm like, I can feel the ache now. It's like, 'cause I'm just so close to just removing it. I'm like, just rolling my shoulders a bit, just waiting for her.
About 5 minutes later.
Oh, feels like an eternity.
Let us wait them out in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 5 minutes later, Irina comes out, looking a little bit more smug than usual, and just sort of almost saunters of the last couple of steps, and sort of looks between the three of you, and goes, "I was told by a very distressed god that one of you was being a bit of a cunt to him. Who's the
I
offending part? Excellent. What did he do?"
He spoke.
And she just the nose flushed. "What do you need?"
We have a gift for you.
And it just kind of like sinks, and as it kind of like flops, like part of the canvas opens and
Wine goes everywhere.
wine, well, empty one, thankfully. Yes, like the head kind of like rolls out, kind of like topples out in front of these smirking fucking idiots that think that Vanessa can't hold her own. It's like, yeah, we fucking killed this motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Kind of-
you definitely hear reactions from the guards.
the creatures that killed the pigs.
Sort of leans forward. It definitely would have been big enough. What is it?
From where we're from, we call them owlbear because they look like a bear and have feathers. It is not the most original of names, but it works.
And she sort of bends down and lifts it up, just sort of two-handed, looks at it.
They do not normally look like this where we come from. This one looks like it was already dead. It was not dead when we found it, but undead.
Irina, have you known this curse to take effect on creatures other than humans, humanoids?
I have not. This is very strange. And yet, but I had not seen dead that could seem to speak yesterday. Whisper, you didn't petition for the life of this one as well. Very surprising.
It did not seem sentient.
I suppose now we will never know. This is good work. This is very good work. I like this. Where you're from, they still value gold, yes?
Among other things.
Among other things. Tell me what other things, Hazim.
Favors. Always better than gold.
I'm not interested in owing anybody favors, so you can take some gold. What favor did you have in mind?
We've heard much of the rest of Falkovia. We would like to, at least at some point, try and see more of it.
She barely suppresses a smirk. What would you like to see, Hazim?
There are other cities, are there not?
There is Lekar. Absolutely. If you're very, very fortunate, you will get to see Lekar.
What of Morfenzi?
Morfenzi is not a city. Morfenzi is Morfenzi. It is let's call it a encampment, a facility. It is not a town or a city.
And yet we're still, let us say, our interest is piqued. We had the good grace to meet with the three that were sent from there in the early hours.
Yes, I'm terribly, terribly upset at missing that one.
Do you know them?
Oh, Morfenzi agents. Never is there anybody more self-involved. But
So you're not a fan.
I don't really care for them. They have their tricks, but they're no good in a scrap. They always have a reason to be withdrawing, a reason to be heading back to behind their walls and to their fields and underneath their house. They're useless rats. More interested in talking of intrigue than actually contributing to the war effort.
We did find that. We told them that we were out heading this creature today, and they were not interested in joining us. Thought they were too good for it.
Well, yes, there is that as well. Why do they come out of their way to go and help you on a little hunt? They will be under strict orders. But if such is the import of their mission, but they will have been told to ride across the hard soil instead of taking the long way. It's absolutely understandable.
Nevertheless, is there something that you'd like to do with this? Vanessa just gestures to the giant skull. Or the
I'd like to mount it, but the glory would not be mine. But you have nowhere to mount it. So what shall we do about that? We could mount it in the Pecker. We could mount it here in the guard hall. We could burn it. What would you? Who struck the killing blow?
We did strike a killing blow.
I don't remember.
Hazim
Hard to
did.
say. It was
Hazim
quite.
did.
Yeah, it's probably a theme.
It was quite the fight. It is hard to say, but I'll be honest. Creatures such as this.
Okay, then just one of you make a decision on what to do with it, or I'll just burn it and put some pictures.
Burn it. I don't.
Burn it. Excellent. Burned it is. And he's like, hey! Just some guy who's mid sort of like hammering something. She's just like medicine balls it at him. And he was like almost taken off his feet. It was like, you just hear a crunch as the skull hit the floor. Burn this thing. And it's a bit like a fucking hell. Oh! She picks it up and gingerly walks out. August is going to want words with you. You've shown yourselves capable. I know that he had something else in mind. Regarding to time-sensitive camp business.
Do you know what this time-sensitive camp business is?
Of
Or
course
does
I do. Of course I do. But fuck it. I don't know where he is. There is a traitor in the camp. Karama. Dennis, as his friends call him. He currently operates out of the Pecker, as you know, but his son, alas, has turned traitor and has deserted us. Dennis, by association, is to be killed. But he's begging and whining and claiming his son would never do this, so we want to... I like the old fuck. He was a good man, so rather than kill him, we're going to send you to Silvervass. Have a look around, beat down some bandits, see if he deserted. If he's there, kill him. If they saw anybody with his lovely shed of hair, kill him. Kill as many of them as you can if you get the opportunity. And if you find any, they're nothing but bandits. If you find any supplies that would be useful, kill them and bring it back. But we basically want to make absolutely certain before we kill the old man.
There is no chance that the son was taken by one of the creatures that took your pigs. There are many bones in the nests that we found.
This is true. There were many bones of various animals, and many of them were human.
I'm never going to be able to sell that. I doubt it. He probably did. He was a bit of a flighty fuck. He probably has just got away. So the old man will almost certainly die. But at least we've repaid and given him an extra day while we investigate it after his many years of service hiding his duplicity. So you are to take the rest of the day at your leisure, and then in the morning head north to Silvervass. If you're not back in 2 days, we kill him anyway, so it's one of those. But there'll be something you can get up there. You can certainly get a few bandit scalps whilst you're up there. I'll give you... Standard rate is 5 silver per scalp.
5 silver per scalp of a bandit.
Mm.
So how much was it for the scalp of that creature that we brought in that was killing pigs?
I was about to give it to you, but then you started talking about favours. But never said I'm remiss. You simply got me talking and forgot about it. And she sort of takes a pouch off of a pocket and picks out 3 gold. Hands 3 gold over.
We'll take 3 gold. Take 3 gold and look over the coins. What does the mintage look like?
Yeah, it's going to be a dour, serious-looking woman. Thick-necked.
Yeah, it looks like the statue, basically.
Yeah.
I will pocket them and say, I mean, everything in here seems to be free. Where do you even spend gold?
You want to get to Lekar at some point, you said, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Not everything runs off military goodwill in Lekar.
Good to know.
So,
What would 3 gold pieces buy us in Lekar?
some weaponry, some armor, very nice lodgings for a week or so. Services, maybe even a horse.
Very well.
But you will, you'll head north from the camp until you reach a fork in the road. To the left, you'll find what's left of Silbervass, set on Lake Kriegvogel. But if you go right, well, you pass along the Tivelands, you can see the Zamira Ranch, you can see the hot soil in the distance, Grellock House. I will put all of this into text, don't worry. And follow the road long enough, although why would you? You come to where Eri used to be.
Where? What, sorry?
Eri used to be.
What is Eri?
I think the captain talked to you about it the other day. It fell about 6 months ago. Nothing but the dead there now.
I recall.
Been learning so much. But as you say, it's if it has fallen, then I imagine of little interest to us.
And based on all of this information, I am
Let's
giving
review
you...
the map.
Yes, I have updated the map
Ooh.
accordingly for you.
Well, look at that.
Still loading for me. Is it pretty?
It's pretty. So we've got the Tidelands, we've got Eri, we've got Silvervass, Lake Kriegvogel.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kriegvogel, yeah. And just out of character, just because I don't remember offhand, where was Homeboy's rebel encampment at?
Silverback.
Silvervass.
Silvervass, okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah, she's sending us very conveniently.
There we go. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
So, Silverbass is on the road. It is an old town, but it's also an encampment.
It's a town that fell, and disparate groups of bandits and deserters now skulk there.
But it still operates as a town without bandits.
No, it operates as mostly ruined, destroyed buildings that skulking gangs roam between, and we have to pass through for supplies. There's never enough people to be worth taking it, so we simply double up the guard, riding through, send messages quickly. They make a very nice... Drakov's reasoning is, if a fort ever falls, Silbervass is a nice buffer to give us time, filled with unimportant people who have acted against the effort. They would bide us some time if we needed to prepare back at Lekar or to Willow Watch.
How many rebels do you estimate to be there?
Around 50.
And who leads them?
Depends on who you ask. Maybe Gondagar. Maybe someone else, some other high-ranking Deserterat.
It's interesting. We were told by one of the guards that Gondagar was loyal to Iraq.
You broke up and was loyal
Was
to...
loyal to Drakov.
How so?
That he tries to. Oh, I don't know. Actually, in my note, I feel like this went back on itself. So I wrote down. Gondagar the Mounted Knight tries to sway people away from order, promises a better way in life to follow him, but it means betraying Drakov. But then I felt like somebody else said they think he appears when you speak against Drakov and you're having a crisis of faith. Yes, that's what Kalset said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he can come in and swoop you up. He's like, oh, you don't like Drakov either? With me.
Come on, let's
If
go.
you want to be a rebel.
Okay.
We don't
yeah,
like
I
Drakov
went-
either. Yeah.
I went.
Yeah.
So I thought my initial notes that I wrote about Gondagar were wrong. Okay.
All my
that's fine
homies hate Drakov.
then. Okay. So
Don't be my
Gondagar,
homie that hates Drakov.
Gondagar rallies those that.
So, I'm guessing you wouldn't have said that
He-
to
I
her,
mean,
is it?
yeah. If we can
Yeah,
backtrack.
knowing-
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So Gondagar is loyal to Gondagar. Then he's not presumably quite the ghost that people make of him then.
You mean like a spirit or a premonition?
It seems like he just seems to be something of an urban myth for some people, that he just appears.
It's
Is it just people speaking and
gossip.
giving a name more reputation than it needs?
Gossip. Stood around on watch. Bored. Talking to keep your eyes from closing, staring at the tree line. People will talk about any old shite.
But it's fair. It is good to keep people distracted sometimes, providing their eyes still look where they're supposed to.
It is. Your special undead has been taken now. Oh, you're my friend again now, Whisper, or are you still very angry at me?
I would not call us friends.
Oh. Anyway. Give me a moment to put the hand on the wall. Yes, I think I've recovered. You can take the rest of the afternoon. Rest how you will. You may have to serve yourself in the Pecker. And then, in the morning, head north to Silverbass. And kill some bandits. Try to have fun. Find out what you can. If you do find a traitor, Caleb, a head, not a scalp. Unless you to bring him back alive. If you do bring him back alive, there is a pole waiting for him. If not, his father.
And what if we find something else? What if we find that he's dead but headless?
Bring him back. We grew up together. I'd still have ways of identifying him.
Understood. I think that's agreeable. Yes, and Vanessa looks to the others.
I mean, I do not feel we necessarily have much of a choice with these things, one way or the other. So, as far as I'm concerned, silver is silver.
Why would you have a choice?
I don't think we would have a choice. That is what I'm saying. I'm fine. I go where I'm told.
You will go far. And she reaches out quite suddenly, and not in a. Not, it's a.
Pulse dex checks. If she's trying to touch me,
it's a sudden action, but she doesn't grab it to finger. She's gonna try and just gently lift and sort of turn Vanessa's chin towards her. It's like, you look in a very bad way. What happened to you?
The owlbears were. We'd never encountered something like that. I have never encountered something like that, and I did my best to stay my ground, but did not leave without my own share of wounds.
Terrible. And so just sort of nods her head towards Whisper. Have this one do her thing for you. Feel better soon.
Thank you.
And she's gonna turn and just go to head back into the keep unless anyone stops her. Attack opportunity for Whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she gets that a 10-foot
Claws.
Yeah.
Sentinel strike.
No, but when she does walk away, the others would see her hands start to clench against her sides again, just out of frustration, despite her face being very agreeable, I guess.
Come on. Let us get cleaned up. Get some food, get some drink, and some rest.
Okay.
Yes, let's.
You go to the Pekka. Well, sorry, do you go to the Pekka rather?
Well, I imagine when we're out of the guardhouse en route to the Pekka, because we don't know who's going to be in there, so it might not be necessarily easy to talk, but I always feel like en route to it is like a bit of a wide open space for us.
That's fine. Yeah, go for it.
So Silverbass. It is where we want to go.
Seems a little too convenient, but if it's easier to get there, that's easier to get there.
The plan
We'll
is...
find some more information.
The plan is what?
What is the plan when we get there? I feel that we should clearly try and weigh up what their intentions are of this order, what these rebels hope to accomplish. But it puts us in an interesting position. We could, if we feel that they are ones that we could trust, then there is potential leverage for us that we are on the inside of Fort Walton already. We're able to come and go a little more freely. It depends how quickly. Sorry, what?
No, go on.
It depends how quickly we wish to turn on these, and from that little interaction with Irene, I imagine we're already pulling at the chain.
I'm more curious as to what Gondagal or any of his bandits would want from us. I don't get the impression that anyone out here works out of the kindness of their own hearts. Everyone wants something. Just have to figure out what price we want to pay to get closer to Dracov.
I think our plan should be to be careful. Anything else, I don't think we should plan it out too much. We have no idea what we're walking into. Only what we've been told about this place.
For now, I imagine it is better that we try and play both sides as much as we can without ingratiating ourselves too much with one or the other.
And what if this is in fact not a rebel camp, and we go and offer up to play the other side, showing our hand? I think we should be very withholding with any information on our part.
I would agree.
And just work on gaining information.
I agree.
There's nothing to say that Fort Watson and the general do not have their own spies in Silverbass. If we go in there shouting our mouths off, saying that we are allies, it could quickly come back upon us.
Yes. We have no idea how clever these people really are.
I think it just reinforces that we are the only people we can trust.
The Triad.
Deception check.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Whisper is going to head very much straight for the barracks, though, looking as if she wants to just skip the meal entirely and fall right to sleep.
That
She's
is
very
doable.
much like swaying and like falling asleep on her feet.
I will say to Vanessa then, are you heading to the Pecker or for sleep first?
I'm down for a trip to the Packer.
Okay.
I'm curious, though, if we can get closer to Dennis and see if what he knows and
I
get some
would
more information.
imagine that Irina said that we would have to serve ourselves, so it makes me think that he might already be in a cell somewhere.
Well, that's what I mean, is if we can get access to that cell or wherever he's being held, any information we can get on his son would be helpful, wouldn't it?
I imagine it would. And if we are being sent to look for him in particular, then we may be granted access to him to interrogate.
Well, let's
Yeah.
refresh ourselves, and then perhaps we go and search for Dennis.
So the Pecker is tremendously raucous. There are like 8 or 9 guards behind the bar. It is effectively self-service. The place is being raided. It is, even not caring about this place as you do, as you may not, you cannot help but think this is very disrespectful. For like,
Why are they raiding it? They get to drink for free anyway.
yeah, but we're just as in, like,
that-
it's self-service, but just boorish. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if imagine
There's no sense of
it's the
decorum
difference
there.
between imagine the rugby team going to like an all expenses paid night out at a function club, and then imagine that when they're all going behind the bar and pouring their own drinks and getting the go crisps.
Yeah.
Through their ass cracked. and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff,
absolutely.
Yeah, any sense of respectability is out the window.
Totally. You hear a couple arguing about who's put the most work in over the last few years. So, and it's very quickly becomes apparent that they're both sort of stating their own suitability for inheriting the running of the Pecker in the morning. There's definitely a bit of a whose job's this going to be in the morning. I want it. Here's why I should have it. I want it. Yeah, you are able to grab a drink and a bit of bread, but it's not the fine dining of the last few nights.
I mean, are they assembling in the kitchen as well, or are they focused on getting as much drink down the gullets as they can?
People stood drinking in the kitchen. The place is just a bit wild.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's possible for you to get food and drink.
Okay.
Yeah, Vanessa will squeeze in between some of these like raucous infantry folk, and she'll at least try to get like a bowl of stew for Whisper and a couple cups of water or mead. And if Azim wants one, she'll try to offer up a bowl as well.
Yeah. I'll get what we can.
Yeah.
Excellent. Then yeah, unless there's anything specific you want to talk about, you definitely get a meal down you.
Are any of the guards who met us at the gate in the tavern as well?
Not the ones who let you in today. They would still be on shift. Or
I'm just curious if the ones who were talking to Vanessa were there.
Oh, so in the guardhouse. Any of the knobheads from earlier, you mean?
Yeah, when we got back today.
One of them might have been close to the end of their shift. The worst offender was the one who outright mocked you, isn't. But one of we'll say the guy who went, is now in there. He's clocked off. And you do actually see he gives a bit of like that's a one to like his his mate is about drinking.
She'll notice that and fire him a bit of a smirk.
Licks her lips.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's happening again.
But yeah, after is there more you want to do there, or are you going to take your refreshment and then go back and rest?
I was just gonna go bring it back to the barracks unless Hazim wanted to do something here.
I will probably stay here because I feel relatively well rested anyway.
Yeah.
I will probably stay, just trying to get an ear of what's going on in the tavern. Kind of ingratiate myself amongst the plebs.
Yeah, it is nothing but gossip. Gossip about clearly tall tales on what Kaheb actually did. What he got found doing, and that's why he fled. People now deciding they never really trusted his dad entirely. That quite often turns into like critique of the ale being watered down, and gossip over who's most likely to inherit the pub in the morning. What time the impalement's meant to be. It's been held off a couple of days now. People are getting very irate about that. It is a tumble of interesting but tactically useless gossip.
Okay. Sure. I'll probably nurse a drink more than I'll get heavily involved with drinking, because I don't. I feel like I would be uncomfortable about the vibe that's happening in here.
Yeah, it is pretty bad vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Kebab was still around. Vanessa will head back to the barracks, and mechanically, I guess, since it's not time to long rest, she would still be up, or no?
Well, I think we're getting to a point where Whisper's gone back and trying to get her head down. It was mid to late afternoon by the time that you finished all of this. You've been told to take the rest of the day off. You've been in the tavern for a while. I'm happy if once Hazim finishes his reconnoiter of the plebeians, for us to wrap up with a long rest and start the next day.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to drop off the stew and the mead to Whisper, but if she's asleep, she just set it beside her, her cot, and then she'll get on her cot and then start to take out her own journal that she's been writing, like transcribing notes into, and she'll just kind of survey it. Actually, she'll do that for a little bit, but while Hazim is still out at the Pecker, she does want to leave and see if she can get a beat on where Dennis is being held.
You would have heard, I think, I mustn't have made it clear in what I said, sorry, but a reader would have mentioned that he was held in Captain August's cell. The one that's essentially in his quarters that Hazim would have seen from the one of the speakers on being.
So now that one's been cleared out, they've now filled it with him.
Yeah. Because remember, they literally only have the one cell, we said before, because they don't keep prisoners normally.
Right, yeah.
Stole a loaf of bread, impaled. It's there is one punishment, and it's impaled. Yes, good to Jen.
Listen, they run a tight ship here. I can't fault them.
Okay, then
I want to kind of try and get a gauge of like if there's any sort of gambling that happens between these lot, because I'm imagining that all the stuff that they own is like it's military stuff. I imagine that most people don't necessarily have a lot of money. Can they trade stuff like shifts, or is it like no, your shift is your shift?
Your shift is absolutely your shift. Yeah, that is. It's definitely not one of them.
Is there any sense of gambling or anything here that they are in a position to do?
There was the other night, the first night you were here, there was dice and cards.
What were they trading? What were they selling? What were they gambling?
Coin, little bits of copper scrap and silver we had.
Okay.
Hadn't seen any gold here, but then haven't seen people really buying things, so hasn't been much cash flashed. But they shift in and out of Lekar. So presumably their wages get spent in Lekar for the most part. Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not gonna gamble all that money. I was just interested.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then yeah, we head back. We bed down. All of you apply a long rest, and we will take our 15-minute break, and we will come back in 15 with the start of the next day. So we will see you all in 15 minutes. Bye.
Hope you signed offline.
Wrecked. What?
And we are back.
The C word.
That
3
was
times?
that was perfect. Yes. Sorry about that. We were a couple of minutes more. Hazim's head popped off.
Lies.
So yes, you all spend the night resting from a intense half day. You are all able to apply a long rest to yourself. I think only Whisper has not so far. But it is a new dawn. It's a new day, and other lyrics from the song. It becomes the 6th day of first moon. Remember, you can open the calendar and take a look at the day whenever you want to. You do hear something that would become, if you wake up late enough, or if you're still in the camp late enough, you do hear someone who sort of has taken it on themselves to unofficially sort of cry out as part of like the morning's task distribution, a reminder that there are now only 24 days until the mists open to the dead again. Remember, Falkovnia constantly on that countdown to the next undead invasion on the first day of the month. You're now on the 6th. You are able to breakfast. Is there anything that anybody wants to do in town in the camp before you do set off north towards Silbervass?
I mean, we should probably, between the 3 of us at least, come up with some sort of game plan. Right? That's what people do.
I mean, would we do it here or en route?
If you were to ask Whisper, like, she'd just kind of reiterate what she said yesterday, where it's like,
what I meant is,
I'm
like,
just
do we
on...
want to... Yeah, no, I was just saying more like, do we want to ask for any kind of supplies? Do we want to take, like, any provisions? Or do we want to take another person to act as a human shield for us, like that one guy did?
I personally would probably stop off to re-provision, like just
Okay.
refill rations and things. But I don't think I would be looking to take a hireling.
Okay.
I want to get like a piece of string or something, and I want to turn this arrowhead into a necklace. So I'm going to wear it as a necklace.
Yeah, that's doable. You can.
And could I? Oh, go on.
You can spend some time and make that. Absolutely.
And then crossbow bolts. Do they have them, and can I have them?
Yes, you could get 20 for free from the barracks. They would top you back up to 20.
Well, I can get 20, or
They'll top you up to 20. They're not going to see you pile
gotcha,
ridiculously, but they'll go, what, you're missing a few? My quiver? Yep, here we go. Top
Gotcha,
back
okay.
up.
Quiver? Don't think so, mate.
Yeah. No.
A bolt case.
Yeah, bolt case. It's actually part of a new Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Universe. You're not limited to any ammo in any ranged weapon now.
Right. Bullets at the bottom of your quiver.
Yeah. So yeah, you're back to 20 bolts.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll head out.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So you remember you are advised to head north till you reach the fork, turn left, and then Silbervass is a couple of miles beyond that along the shores of Lake Kriegvogel. So yeah, heading off up the road.
I'm presuming we're not going to stop off and get any of our supplies, or we're just going to leave them be.
Up to you.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to discuss is, do we want to get anything like the... I mean, I guess, selfishly, I want to get the more fancy thing because I'm sick of wearing rags. But I feel like it'd probably be a bad idea coming in looking like agents from Morfenzi to this rebel encampment. Right.
I don't think it'd be bad or good, because they get turncoats all the time, right? So you can
They
wear
get
whatever
they
you
get
want.
what all the time?
Same coat.
Well, then I mean, that's the thing. Do we want would coming in as posing as an agent of a higher ranking be like more incentive for them to trust us, or?
Yeah, but that's duplicitous. Well, and we'll say this in character.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's
I got
well, I
Someone
have
else go.
this beautiful jacket. Well, I don't think we need any of the books or anything like that. I've transcribed at least notes into my journal. There is the matter of the more fancy attire, the agent's attire. Selfishly, I would like to wear it, since this provides me absolutely no protection or aesthetic enjoyment. But beyond my own selfishness, I wonder if it's not a good idea coming in as a agent of higher ranking and showing support for them.
I imagine it could quickly backfire, though, once it is revealed that we are, in fact, not.
Well, there's the other idea. If we stole it, if I stole it, it could be a good sign of faith. You know, I'm willing to do what it takes. We're even willing to take out more fancy agents to support their cause.
I think whatever reason that we are trying to concoct as to why it is a good idea, the most compelling reason is that you just want to wear something nice, Vanessa. And if that's what you wish to do, then just wear the jacket.
Well,
It's
listen,
not
I
a
don't
problem.
want to put us in danger, is all. You know,
We're already in danger.
I'm not a slave to fashion. I do want to look nice, but I'm not foolish.
That's what, I mean, have we not been given any like uniforms or anything? Is she still just wearing rags?
No, we just been given rags.
You have been given like. You've been given
Boiler
pieces of.
suits.
You've
We
been
weren't
given
even given
pieces of
rags.
armor. No, you were given pieces of armor. You are not wearing the full, like the standard armor that a lot of them are wearing. It is
We've probably
noticeable.
done more than half of these
Yeah.
have done in their lifetimes.
Yeah, and Vanessa
Ridiculous.
can't wear armor because of her, class. So she's just been walking around in whatever she woke up in.
If
Well-
we go up there, there is no guarantee that we will be returning to Fort Walton, even if that is our plan now. We have no idea what this land holds. I say we should bring the stuff with us. All
I
of it.
agree.
We should at least dig it up and bury it closer to Silverpass.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. And
Okay.
not just because I want to wear a nice coat.
Perhaps
You're
taking
trying to
insignia-
you're trying to save money for yourself. Not trying to not commission new character art. You're just like
Yeah.
whatever gets me closest to my character art. So you want to dig up all your cash?
Yeah, we're digging up our cash, and then I think we're just like you said, we'll bury it somewhere like maybe like a mile outside or something like that, or somewhere that we'll be able to mark and recognize. That's like on the way back if we need to.
Yeah.
Or if we don't go back, we can at least get it.
Okay.
I'm presuming, in general, Vanessa's going to carry everything.
Well, she'll carry the books and whatnot. And yeah, like it's only small stuff, so yeah, she'll carry it.
Okay, things are dug up.
She puts on the outfit.
She looks stylish.
Damn right.
She is wearing the garb of a more frenzy agent. Does she don the hat?
Yeah, she's not much of a hat girl.
Oh, hat girl. Okay. So yeah,
Put it on whisper though. Just let her have that.
I mean, I would wear it for a second before realizing it impairs my vision, and then just hand it back to you.
And she'll offer it to Hazim.
What
You
you
could maybe
offering
cut
me?
out ear holes.
Sorry, I was looking at my encumbrance. My encumbrance is like crazy high. Like I don't even know what the fuck I've literally got no items. What the fuck's weighing so much?
let's look at that after. It's not gonna bog us down now.
I've just realised I've got 100 pounds worth of crossbow bolts apparently. The
Oh,
weight on them is
instead of
wrong.
100. Fair enough.
No,
Here-
not 20.
here's
The weight on them
Vanessa.
is wrong.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you dig up your cash. Do you take any effort to fill the hole back in, or do you leave this open hole?
Oh, we totally fill it up. I don't want it to look like we dig up something.
Okay. And you carry
Well, I
north.
say we probably whisper though. So.
Who's leading the way? I know you've just followed the road, but what's What's our marching order? Or are we Wizard of Oz in it? All arms linked?
I feel like Hazim would probably be in front. I know it's not going to be a whisper unless like you're specifically asking her to track, which she can do very well, but
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. It is
The back.
a hot, dry day. There is very little in the way of wind. It's just a bit stagnant and just choking. You walk like this for just over an hour until you do start to get the occasional bit of breeze that picks up more and more. You reach a point that is the furthest north you've gone, and you clear the trees, arriving at what you know to be a crossing of a road, what you know to be the Tivelands.
Well, I mean, where are we burying? Are we burying them in the tree line still before we're exposed?
They're going to be trees. I'm talking in terms of a map
Okay.
of a full forest.
Okay, cool.
Loading up those timelines.
Mm.
Oh, this is unusually pleasant looking.
Yeah.
So it
Is
opens
like
up.
This, is it this sunny and bright, or?
It is, yeah. It's always been sunny, but it just opens up and you see the extent of it. I know this is a winding path going off. We're going to say this is a left and right path instead. Looking over across the Tivelands, you see a cluster of farms a few miles out. Beyond that, you see a point where these fields start to turn into like shorter red grass, almost like moorland. You did hear Irina refer to an area beyond the Tivelands called the Heart Soil. But yeah, you see a road to the right, but you've been told leads off to the Eyrie, and a road to the left that will take you to eventually Silbervas. Yeah, but there's a bit of a breeze here. It's probably the nicest weather and the nicest moment you've had since getting here. There are bits of just pollen or just dandelion seeds just floating around. You smell that sort of the smell of crops, just wheat and corn. What are we doing?
I just start crying for my allergies. Oh my fucking god, the fucking dandelions! And that is what ruined the zine. I mean, I guess we're just heading over towards wherever the settlement is. Yeah, we're just
how
following the
long
road
have
for
we
now.
been walking?
About an hour and a half. Maybe two.
What time of day is it?
Mid-morning? Well, it depends how early you set off. If you didn't go for breakfast anywhere, if you got up and set off, it could be about 8:30.
I imagine
I
we
just-
ate.
I was just gonna say I find it funny that Hazim's dying of allergies when he's covered in dander, but go on.
How dare you? I use Head and Shoulders anti-dandruff shampoo.
Whisper is going to look at the others. Would you mind if we silflay for just a small amount of time?
Mind if
we-
what?
If we take a moment to sit in the grass and sun and eat out in the open.
Sure. Well,
By all means.
Alright, she's gonna find like a little, like, I don't know, little clump of grass to sit next to and just kind of pull out a small ration and just sit kind of in the sun and listen to the birds and kind of nibble for a little bit.
and I'm kind of sat, kind of like arms on my knees, kind of like knees stretched out, so kind of like just watching and seeing Whisper in this kind of like bliss, and I'm like in my head thinking, yeah, that looks pretty good, and just gonna close my eyes and take the sun in.
While they're doing that, Vanessa is standing, and she's actually keeping a lookout as much as she can, just to make sure that the two of them are able to have this moment without being interrupted by the undead.
Is there any sign of the undead?
You'd be used
Because,
to.
like, as I'm
Yeah.
sitting here eating, like, and looking around, like, I feel like you can see for a fair bit.
Yeah. It's similar to the woods. You will look around a scene like this, and it's kind of like when you sort of are on a train passing farmland. You might see all these fields, but if you stop and look, you occasionally will notice, like, the odd rabbit, for example. Looking around, you will see every so often just a bit of movement, and you might just see a haggard, lone zombie just trudging its way, like chest high, in crops through a field, or very occasionally past clearly like the corpse of a dead or slain zombie lying by the roadside. On more than one occasion in your time in Falkovnia so far, I'm sure you'd have found like one that was quite feebly just just terribly dragging itself along a roadside, and Hazim would have just out of its misery, something like that. So yeah, you do occasionally see a zombie or two just out and about.
We're at a point now where we're pretty used to seeing them then, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
After, like, just finishing eating a little bit of my ration, I would just stand up and thank you. We can go now if you'd like.
Oh, I assume it was nice to reconnect with nature.
There are birds around?
Family-
All three of us again. What is going on?
No?
we need to put our hands up.
Yeah, 3-second rule.
Yeah. Are there birds around?
Yes.
I'm gonna try and sling one of them.
Oh, okay, yeah. A bird on the wing comes by. Make me a sling attack. Bird on flight, gonna call it 16. You hit a peacock that was flying by. No! Yeah, you hit some small starling was flying by. With a slight puff of the under feathers, hangs in the air for a moment as a bird just bodies down.
And I'll just kind of like traipse over and look through the crops, find the body, and just have a minute, cut it open with my dagger, start going through the entrails, and yeah, I'm going to ask them. Well, I'm just going to see whether Silver Bass leans into my destiny, if this is somewhere that is relevant to me and where I'm going in life. I'll make my wisdom.
You get the sense that it does not tie into your destiny.
Okay.
A strong sense, but it does not.
But not a woe?
Not a
Somewhere.
wow.
Okay. Wipe the blood off. Okay. I'm ready. And then, yeah. Start heading back down at a saunter, I feel.
Yeah.
Enjoying the sun, enjoying, I guess, the open space more than anything else. Feels like I'm a little bit more back home, back to my roots, travelling, not just surrounded by woods all the time.
Yeah. Turning away from these fields, we eventually pass by. I would say you see the cluster of farms as well, or just in case for your notes, Irina did mention before the Zamira farm. What was it? The Zamira farmstead. You could probably piece together that that's what that was. Remember, you were told, but all the bodies were burned, so the ashes would blow over this stretch of farmland, and this would become a breadbasket for Falkovnia. You do quickly lose this sort of gold of the crops and the fields as you get back onto the path. Get back to more sort of pines. There's a fair bit of ascent and descent. It's a bit of a hilly up and down path on the way to Silvervass. Pine trees sort of lining as it climbs. Who's taking the lead? Anything you're talking about?
I guess I'm kind of front of house in general for now. If we're not kind of like going through woods and stuff, and yeah, I'll just look to the others and say that is the most at home I have felt for a long time. Even back when I was in Faerun, the open skies and the gold of the fields. I have not wanted for home for quite some time, but it is surprising what makes you miss things, yes?
Yes, it is. For you, it's a open field full of sunshine and a breeze, and for me, it's a nice coat.
What of you, Whisper? You seem to find your bliss back there.
On warm evenings, my clan would always eat outside, in the grass between our homes. It reminded me very much of that.
And me. I have not seen my people for some time. Many years now. Leaving the Al Sarah, it is something that happens to all of my people. We travel with them until we are of age, and then we all go our own separate ways, and we spread our word and our knowledge from Faerun to Karator. And as much as you are prepared for it and trained for it, and it is not easy at the time. I guess I had not realized quite how much I missed it.
What's the purpose of these spreading this knowledge by yourself? I mean, if your people are native to one area, but you separate, doesn't that compromise the integrity, the stability of your people?
That is the joy of the Al Sarah. We are not from one place. Our caravan travels from Karator all the way across the continent, all the way across Faerun, from coast to coast. We do it in what you would call a migration. Never ending. And depending when you are born, in which direction the caravan is heading, you are destined to head that way. That is the way that your destiny has guided you. You are born when you are en route. And so you are taught the teachings and of religion and traditions of the place of where you are coming from, so that when you head to this other place, you can bring that knowledge with you to try and unite the two places. And so it is not teaching of our own place and our own religions and traditions. It is teaching of somebody else's to those that do not follow them. They're trying to spread that kind of harmony and unite people as much as we can. And as I'm kind of talking about, I kind of just fall silent thinking about it, and clearly it's a bit more than he wanted to talk about. just caught up in it for a second.
Mm-hmm. I assume, Whisper, from what you've told us about your own clan, that you're one of, if not the last one left.
Yes, there are not many left. And I believe
Exactly.
by now we are scattered.
Does that include your family?
I have no family left.
You have the triad.
Yes.
And I just kind of like put my arm around her and just kind of like pull her in a little bit. What have you been
There were
asked?
many.
Go. No.
No, what it is?
Those silences, man. Those like slightly prolonged silences. And someone tries to fill them. Go on.
She was just gonna say, there were many things that contributed to our thinning numbers, but ultimately why I left was to just see the world.
Vanessa
Like
seems
what?
very... Jesus fucking Christ. Go on.
Yeah, I'll leave it as. Don't stay quiet.
Oh, Vanessa wasn't going to say anything.
Okay. Oh, was it Harrison that jumped in?
It was me.
That was-
Viewers, we can't talk tonight. We are all talking over each other.
There
and I have
must
no
be
idea.
slight lag. There must be slight lag or something like that because we
There must be slight lag because we never speak over
There
each
must
other.
be slight lag.
It's not even talking over. We both
sorry,
just
what?
we all just keep starting talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard as well because I've not got a mask, so it doesn't even look like I'm prompting.
Hi,
people or
welcome
something.
to TPK Roleplay. I'm Harrison tonight.
Quickly signing offline.
Yeah.
I look to Vanessa and I say, we often speak of our families and where we are from. You are still somewhat of a mystery to us, and I appreciate that you are undoubtedly a private person. But if there is anything that you wish to share,
I'm not sure if I'm private. It's just that neither of you have asked any of these kind of questions of me.
you do not give the vibe that you are an open book, Vanessa.
Good. But again, you've not attempted to ask me, and I had no reason to answer.
Do you have family that you have
I
left
do.
behind?
I do, yes. I have a mother and father, and I have a older brother and a younger sister.
Quite the extended family.
I'm sorry?
Quite the extended family. Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that, yes.
You've spent much time with them, or
Not anymore, no. Our interests and our paths diverged when I got to be of a certain age, and I have not been home in quite some time myself.
this I can relate to. The three of us, how similar we are. The best of friends.
Do you have any stories, Vanessa, from where you come from?
I mean, nothing particularly exciting. I mean, is there a kind of story that you're interested in? No.
Love to hear stories from everywhere.
How did you find out about your magic?
My magic. Or
Oh,
asking
I was
Vanessa.
saying to Vanessa, yeah, for Vanessa. as
oh,
well.
okay.
I mean, but that is a question for Whisper as well, but yeah, I'm looking at Vanessa.
Okay.
um, that's it's interesting. I don't. I can't remember the last time I thought about it. It's part of why I left. I don't quite understand it myself, and so I've always had a natural curiosity for things, and that has led me to investigating, to searching, to finding and uncovering more about who I am and what I am, and what kind of power I have. So to very succinctly answer your question, I don't know. But as for you, Whisper, stories of my place, my home. It was, well, I lived a very comfortable life. It was remote. And it was, I didn't grow up wanting for anything other than, I guess, my own independence, my own understanding of the world beyond what I knew, what I was being taught. But I was very blessed in many ways, and it's funny, these kind of trips, especially this one that I did not intend on taking, ones where my own agency, my own clothing becomes compromised. I can't help but think about what I had then, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little bit wistful for it. But I'm here. I am a part of this triad, and the only way out is through. So here we are.
Here we are. That is quite a good philosophy in life. Here we are. It does not matter where you are going. If you are present in the now, wherever you are, make the most of what you've got, yes?
Well, I would usually agree with you, but perhaps in this instance where the three of us were snatched up by something, placed here against our will for reasons we still don't understand, I think that's a minor caveat to it.
Somewhat, yes. Here we are, with exceptions.
Yes.
Vanessa, next to your ear for a moment. Just trails off.
She does that thing as if she's trying to suppress being annoyed. She kind of flutters her eyes a bit. Just kind of throws her hair back, just shaking it off. Well, we should probably be on our way. Yes.
Well, I presume this has been happening while you've been walking.
Oh, I thought we were just sitting.
Oh no,
No, I thought we
we'd
got
already
up and started walking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
reached
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pine woods.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought we were still
so-
sitting. Sorry about that. Yeah. But yeah. Well, she will not say, let's keep walking. Or let's start walking. She will say, let's keep walking.
You all hear ahead a large smash, a crash,
Wooden, glass, metal.
wooden, and then silence.
I will pause and say, the last time we ran into something, we ran into trouble. Do we want to take a moment to avail ourselves of our items? Because we might not get another chance.
May not be a bad idea. Whisper, do you think you can take a quick haul?
Yes.
I'm going to scan around the area. Does it look like there's any like kind of, standout landmarks that we could kind of, spot where this? I mean, we're fairly kind of into the tree line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got those sort of rocky outcrops around. You can definitely find sort of like areas where there's recognisable rock features you could move aside and put things under or dig in front of.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna get the glaive out. Kind of like sidestepping widely to the other side of the road, kind of like looking around a bend or anything. See if we can get eyes on anything.
Yeah.
How far away did it sound like it come from?
Well,
Just
when you do corner peek, you see that about 30 foot ahead, there's still a bit of loose soil on the wind picking it up and small sediments sort of blown across the path, but you see that it seems that a pine tree has become dislodged and has fallen from one of the rocky outcrops and now blocks the path, the road. Climb over it or walk around it, but yeah, a tree blocks the path.
This isn't ominous.
Yeah, I'll go walk over. Like if Whisper's in the middle of digging and kind of like, I'll say, 3 blocks of the road. Seems too convenient for it to land in such a place. With all the trees and all the places, for it to block a road like this, perhaps Silver Bass is preparing for something? A caravan of sorts?
Does seem like a trick.
How far does it seem that we're going to be from Silver Bass, from where this pine has
From what you've been told, about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes.
Whisper, you do hear as you stood there talking from up on the rocky outcrop behind you. You do just hear the slightest
I will immediately look at Hazim and crouch, stealthing, and I'm going to just kind of tuck away under the tree line as best I can, so whoever's up on the ledge cannot have a good line of sight to me. Just maintaining eye contact with Hazim.
So, if she's kind of like looking up at where she's seen it, but like obviously keeping quiet, is this outcrop kind of like parkoury, scalable? Like how high does it go?
No, there's in total about sort of 20-foot scrambles up.
Okay. Then, yeah, I'm gonna use my feline, my my fox, my canine agility, and just blitz, kind of like jumping from rock to rock, trying to get.
Well, before that would happen, yeah. Once there's movement, you would hear a "Good morning" from up, not behind you where you heard the cough whisper, but from ahead of you on the other side, as you see a figure sort of stood up on the rocky outcrop, holding a bow, and you would hear rustling up from behind you, from where you're facing Hazim up towards the cough was heard, and all three of you would just see a number of figures emerging from hidden positions. But when I rolled all their stealth before, one of them rolled a nat 1, so we had a coffer amongst us. Yeah, and you find yourself
How many do I think we're surrounded by?
At an initial glance, looking around, you see at least 6. All of them have bows. Trained on you, bar the one who called Good Morning. And I'll take us through to...
So they're all trained on me, personally?
Yeah, just aimed at the
in general.
group. Yeah, not you, just active at the group.
Do these? I mean, I assume they look like bandits. Or...
You've used the same map, this guy.
Hey, there's a tree on this one.
That's a treat asset. You could have put it on literally any map. Okay. So would I have been like starting to scramble up here then?
You were all. I had you down as being in front of a tree over here. I think basically Whispers. Whispers. One of them coughed. Whispers crouch would have made them all realise. Right, fuck it, they're onto us, so they're coming out. So it's kind of before you start. I imagine you've been starting to move as they all have gone like, whoa. Because one of them's coughed and we've all gone, well, fuck's sake, that's it. Because he's coughed and we've just all been watching him and seeing her go.
Okay. So was the cough from here and the good morning was this person over here? All the way around?
The cough was from around here.
Okay, so I would have been over this side. And then the good morning was from?
From over here.
Okay, cool.
I've got him. And I've also got, where are we? Where's that music?
So don't forget to zoom out.
Yep, that should be sorted now. It's a lovely morning, is it not?
I guess it depends whether you're in your position or ours.
Oh, there is no danger in your position. We seek to help you. You look terribly over encumbered. Crossbow bolts, I would imagine.
100 pounds of fucking... Yeah.
Steamer trunks full of them.
You look as though your bags are probably laden with rations. Far too much for 3 people.
I can assure you they're not.
We've just passed through an entire field full of food that I think there's more there than is in my bag. Why don't you come down and have a look?
That's not our food. We'll have none of it.
Neither is this.
It will be.
It's time to tell.
That was a bit of a laugh from a couple of them. What are your names? Where are you going? What business have you heading away from the fort and towards Silbervass?
Well, if you're heading anywhere in these lands, you must head through Silbervass. Even if we were heading north to Lekar, no?
There is woodland nearby. You could pass around.
Perhaps it would have been safer than taking the road.
It would have. We do not want your kind in Silbervass.
And what kind are we?
Drakov's dogs.
And I say, I take offense at that, and I pull down my fold.
Jesus.
Closer to a fox, if it is all the same.
There's a bit of muttering amongst them.
I mean, does the reaction look surprised the way that Fort Wattens was?
Yeah.
So this is
Well,
it.
I can tell from your reactions that you understand that my companions are not from here at all, let alone sent by Drakov.
Another one of your experiments.
Experiments.
You may possibly remember you are wearing the coat of a Morfenzi agent.
No, I know. She's playing dumb. Yeah, she's playing dumb.
He spits, and from the other side, the woman over here just calls out, "That's enough talk. Just take the rations. We need to get back." Said you can leave.
Take us back with you.
Why? Why would we bring you in? Why would we let you get eyes?
Because I have no interest in maintaining the integrity of the Empire. I'm here of my own free will. I'm not here because some agents of Drakov or some aggressive-looking woman with red hair told us to be.
There's a bit of recognition passes around and mentioning one with red hair. But you're wearing more fancy gear.
I am.
You've had enough?
I'm sorry?
You've had enough, had you?
I have had enough, yes.
Tell me what you've had enough of.
I've had enough of being here and having to entertain these people. They bore me. And quite frankly, I'd rather just, I'd rather not be here, one way or the other. And I don't just mean here, I mean this entire place, Falkovnia. But my companions and I are, and so we come in peace. We don't come in the spirit of trying to upset or to unnerve or to pry or spy upon any of you. We can share our rations. I don't mean to speak for you two, but I feel like we have enough that we'd have a mutually beneficial meeting.
The woman to the north, separate to everyone you've been speaking to, calls out not to you, but to the first woman. Sort of like in like an undertone of medical supplies. She's like, yes, and medical supplies. What have you in the way of bandages, healer's kits? We'll accept those as a gracious donation as well.
Vanessa just gives a side glance over to Whisper to see if she reacts or wants to say anything.
You have those who are injured?
Always.
Then I look at Whisper as well.
So I nat 20'd my stealth check upon hearing that.
You did
cough,
nat 20, but they pushed a tree
but
down
I know
because they
they're
saw you
already
were coming.
watching us, right? But it would
Yeah,
have been
I-
very much like I don't want them to see what I'm doing, and I'm just twisting my ring
Given
because I
the
want to cast Druidcraft.
given the
without anyone really
timing of
noticing.
it, they would have pushed the tree down because they knew you were coming, and you stopped. So I did see that you were very quick just to roll a stealth check, but you were out in the middle of the road, and they saw you do it. So you can roll a sleight of hand check if you want to try
Damn
and
it.
say that you're trying to do something with the ring discreetly. But unfortunately, the stealth was not. The roll was not invited. For context, well, there we go.
Fine.
You
There
are.
you go.
You are
I am casting
fairly-
discreetly.
You are fairly confident that you are casting discreetly. What are you casting?
I would like to use Druidcraft to make sounds of groaning zombies and the smell of rot come from behind this woman to the north.
To this one. The one just pinged.
The one that's been acting in charge.
Yeah, okay. Is there a range on Druidcraft? I thought it was 5 foot, isn't it, Druidcraft? Or am I mistaken? I thought I pressed the digitation.
Let
it was
me
like
go
a,
look,
hey,
hold
look what
on.
I can do. Only 'cause
Does this
that
allow you
looks-
to cast without the verbal component?
I believe it
Yeah,
does.
it's on my ring. Yeah.
Nice.
Druidcraft is not in my... Sorry, I'm just googling it. 5e, Druidcraft. I thought the range was
Not in
5
mine
foot,
and
you see.
either. I thought we
Let's
added
have a
it
look.
in.
Druidcraft.
All right,
30,
come.
30 feet. 30 feet.
Okay.
So I do not believe... But
Well-
you're throwing things near her. You're not going to be throwing... Yeah, behind her, we're starting to get to 45, 50 feet. You'd probably know that before you did it. So we want to say that you've blown...
Yeah, I'll have it then behind someone I can reach.
That's a
then.
good point. This person will have revealed themselves. You do hear a and a bit of movement behind as someone turns and disappears from your view as they
They don't announce anything.
do not. But they're higher. You could imagine they can get eyes and see each other fairly well. But yeah,
Okay.
one of them does step away. The woman who was above there.
I will just kind of step forward. I was hoping that would take more of them, or they would alert and go off, but that's fine. I will just step forward and say I have very.
Oh, sorry. He
Small amounts
would
of
step away as well,
bandages.
actually, looking at where they are. He would step back as well. We'll take them.
You will not. But if you have wounded, we will help.
And you hear that, like, it's a trick. Trick. Just take them, just kill them! Someone calls out on the woman in charge and sort of raises a hand to silence them. So, why should we allow Drakov's dogs, regardless of what you say, people on the road who come from the only place Drakov commands south of here? Why should we take you into our bosom?
We are from beyond what is south
We're
of here.
merely visitors in this land,
Clearly
not
they
from
are.
the fort.
I would be inclined to believe you if it were not for the fact that you have a Morfenzi agent with you, and we saw other agents of Morfenzi leaving the fort last night. We know what they do to soldiers. So cast an eye over Hazim, and to a lesser degree you, at that comment.
I'll just look at her and say, because it is impossible to take clothing off of a dead man.
And so many of them travel by foot these days. Oh, such is the luxury that they don't have a horse. Especially traveling through these lands at such a slow pace, to be captured in such a way.
Here you are, trying to acquire our stuff. Who's to say we didn't acquire this coat?
It is a nice coat. I mean, why wouldn't we want to acquire it?
How can you help? What can you do? What can you provide that is beyond us
Healing
just killing
skill.
you and taking it? Healing skill. Anyone can apply a bandage.
Not like she
Make a
can.
salve.
I am trained. I am a healer.
What do you mean by that?
That I cannot. That I am not just someone on the field applying bandages.
What are
It's
you?
not just simple triage that she's doing.
And you'll never find out.
We don't care for your elixirs. We don't want to treat our wounded that way. It's not worth the cost.
Very well then.
You will not make us beasts.
I will not make you anything.
But if you let us in, she can make your people well.
It is children, you understand? We will kill all of you if any harm becomes a child.
I understand.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
Whisper is deliberately acting though like that she does not want. She's not looking to try and convince this person like out of desperation. It's like this is the facts.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Do you want me to make it, or do you want Whisper to make it?
I want Whisper to make it.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like
Right.
Vanessa. The advantage is from Vanessa throwing in the Roger Sterling side hype comment every few seconds. She's done a good job.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go.
With her -1.
Right?
It isn't my decision alone to make. Here is what we will do. You will hand over your weapons. Except him, points to Hazim. I will hand over my weapons and walk with you with a show of faith. If either of us will attack the others, my archers would pepper all of us. But not before you kill me, I expect. Do we have a deal?
This is acceptable.
She's more looking at Hazim for this one. Oh, sorry, yes, so Hazim's keeping this weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my decision
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
whether I kill you.
Vanessa, acceptable?
I can agree to those terms, yes. And
She,
she'll take off her crossbow off her back.
yeah. She undoes a long bow and unbuckles a long sword and hands it to this woman. This guy comes out from the road, sort of cautiously, holding his sword down by his side, ready to bring it round, and holds a hand out for your crossbow and dagger, Vanessa, and presumably for your gloves. They're not visibly weapons, I suppose. Really, they're and sort of very reaches. Any tricks from you, Vanessa, or comments as he tentatively reaches? I want he's taken them.
She will willingly hand over the crossbow. She won't hand over the bolts, but she will hand over the crossbow.
And this one, he withdraws. She comes up. She's easily taller than Whisper or Vanessa, but Hazim's pushing 7 foot, isn't he? She's not as tall as Hazim, but she gives you a nod. She looks tired. Very well. Shall we?
Yes.
We are to walk together, and I will. Even though, the deals were made, I am actually going to stow my glaive and tie it off.
She notices that and just gives a bit of a nod as you all awkwardly clamber over the tree or walk around it. The decision to permit you access to our children will not be up to me. It will be up to the man in charge.
Gondagal?
And there's a bit like a lot of them just sort of don't speak that name here. You'll have nothing to do with him. As well you know.
We do not, but if you insist.
And the point seems to annoy her. He's like, why would Gondagal be in? No, why would Gondagal be in charge of us?
Because that is what we were told.
That's what we were told. Gondagal is a trick. A ploy by Drakov to find those who are disloyal. They find themselves trying to find a better life, and then they are impaled for treason. Led off to a secret place. We are the freest people in all of Falkovnia. Gondagal. Don't speak to me of Gondagal. That's more like a mutter to herself and like a scornful directed at you.
Then, if not Gondagal, who? I myself am Hazim, and I bow my head.
I'm Rekis. The Ghoul Ripper.
Ghoul Ripper.
The Ghoul Ripper is
Fucking baller
who you
name.
will speak to.
Very impressive title.
Well deserved. He will decide whether you are permitted to come in. However, I do not think he will want you killed when I tell him of your conduct, but perhaps just sent on your way immediately. We will see.
So just to clarify, is this person Rekis or is he Rekis?
This woman is Rekis. The person in charge is Ghoul Ripper.
Okay. Cool. Ghoul Ripper. Does that have a hyphen?
It does not.
Even better.
So yeah, you walk for some time until you come to the start of what is clearly the ruins of a town that have tried to be recovered as best as can. No scene is loading for the first time today. Very strange. There we go. That should load now. Has it loaded for you both? For you all?
Does not.
No, you've not loaded up for me yet.
If it's anything like before, I would suggest hitting F5 on your own individual screens.
Never.
Reload on my own individual screen then.
Yeah, an F5 on mine has done it. You see a clearly ruined town that has been patched up. Some stone buildings, mostly wood. A ruined stone keep off the roadside. The roads head, there's a fair few number of rows off behind sort of rock faces on one side, and you see sort of rows of houses heading up. To the left, you see a ways ahead, about half a kilometre out from the roadside, you see it turns into the shore of a very dark blue, long lake, almost like loch size, that runs up to the north with a single large manor behind it, looking out over the lake, sort of set up by itself.
I will comment on that. I'll say, who lives over there?
Nobody. Not anymore.
We did live over there. Were they of any importance? Or?
So they say it was the Decovans. But now nobody lives there, only screams and temptations.
Okay.
And you sort of led into, you see like a few people. You can see the roads. But those of you who are any good at tracking would notice there's a lot of straight through traffic through the town, like hoof prints. You know from talking to the Talon from talking to Arena and other Talons that people quite often just bomb it through Silvervast because of the bandits that will jump out and get them if they're not fast about it. But you do see the occasional sort of people peeking out of windows and, you know, about the return of like a party of their companions. You are led into the very first building, a wooden shack in a fair state of disrepair, but filled with rudimentary, like piled with home comforts and a bit of a way of a lot of the furniture that's in here will not have already been hit. This is very much like, hey, look what the hoarder has gathered and has made like a nice nest out of. And you find yourself, if it will load, in this ruined sort of place, minus bookshelves, more like just wood paneling wall, a couple of like a bedroom. You'll notice there's quite a few beds in here, and you are.
So it looks like a very expensive place that's just been under ruin for a long time.
Yeah.
Does it look like it would be called Thompson Springs were it in real life?
It looks worse than Thompson Springs. Jesus Christ.
We should not stop here in this place. Let us keep moving.
Let's keep going.
Jesus. Oh no. They all these bandits come in with you, but by the time that nothing's happened after you've got there, the mood seems slightly less tense. A runner is sent off. Someone is sent to go and inform the Ghoul Ripper, and then you all just kind of stand around awkwardly waiting, just almost like separate sides of the room. They're still sort of stood eyeing each other up, and Rekis has made a point of remaining over on your side of the room with you all.
How long have you all been here?
I'm sort of silence, and you notice you'd notice straight away that basically all of them look to Rekis, and she's like, it's fine. And they each just spent a couple of months, couple of years, all my life, a couple of different answers from people. A variation.
What is it you do You're simply surviving. Seems little different from what they do at Fort Wharton. Or do you actually have a plan?
We live. That's the whole point. Those under Drakov's heel, they are the ones surviving. We are the ones who are living. We have a better way.
What way is that?
We value our friends and our family. We don't kill people because they no longer serve us.
And I just look at her and just give her a nod. Good.
And it just hangs awkwardly in the air.
We're not in anywhere where there's any kids or anything yet,
No.
are we?
No, we're
Right.
just waiting.
We're in like the antechamber.
There's no point me loading it at this time, but you're in Amber June, the Amber June hideout.
Oh, careful,
It's,
don't go out that front door. It goes into like some extra flower.
Yeah. So there's just an air of awkwardness, and one of them's like an older man who, by the time you've walked this far, it would be clear is the Cother, who had exposed them all earlier. He sort of looks across you walls like, "How long have you been here?"
We've been here like a week, right?
5 days.
Less than a week.
Came just after the new moon.
You're in for a treat at the start of the month, and at the end of the month.
I guess for all, whether you are of Fort Wharton or Silverbass, I imagine they come from everywhere.
No, they leave us be. They like to keep us alive. They try to find out where we are and use us. Sometimes as a shield, sometimes as a diversion. Drakov will do anything to buy some time for herself when she needs it.
I was speaking more of the undead. That is what you seem to imply would be an exciting time. You do not experience the new moon the same as
We
the
do,
army?
but only after Drakov's forces try to corral or abuse us into where they want us, where Drakov and her tacticians have decided would be fortuitous for their precious meat shield children to be this time. Have you met her yet?
Who?
Drakov.
No. We have not met her yet, no.
That's something that one can do.
But she's in Lekar. Doesn't come out very often. But she does. Occasionally.
How long has she ruled?
Since I was a boy.
Since then or before?
Before.
Do you know how much longer before?
No.
Are there any elders in your encampment?
I am the eldest.
How old is this guy?
Late 60s?
Ooh, good innings for this place. Does there seem to be any intonation when he says it that he is somewhat suspicious of her long rule?
No.
Okay.
Which you'll know from how you press the point with Ludwig. It does seem that unless it's really, you got the impression with
Nobody
Ludwig.
thinks about it.
Yeah, in a way that is like
Brainwashy type thing.
doesn't look like anything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's very much pushed. The door is ripped open, and 2, 4, 10 others all come in, hands on sword hilts or axes. You see a variety of weapons. Looking around, especially Hazim, someone like with martial experience, looking around, you would definitely tell these people have the weapons they could get hold of, like at any point. It is there's no like uniform here.
My hand goes to my ribbon.
Yeah.
At the ready.
Yeah, and a figure steps in, looking you all sort of over. Looks over to Rekis. I don't recognize any of them. It's fine. It's fine. And like the extra guards who came in sort of don't leave, but visibly, go away from hand on sword mobile, sort of fall a little bit to ease and drift back a bit. Why have you come to Silvervest? Why were you trying to pass through?
We have come looking for someone.
Who?
A young man, a deserter from Fort Watton. They had believed he had come here as a rebel against their cause.
Recently?
Yes, within the past week.
No. I'm afraid not. What is this deserter's name?
Kibba.
He just looks around the others and head shaking. He's like, no. One of the men's like, Dennis's boy.
Yes.
He would not desert.
And yet apparently he has.
He has gone missing.
I knew him until I left Watton. That is not a boy who would sign his father over to that fate. Some other fate has befallen him.
Expect also a possibility that there were creatures coming over the walls to kill the pigs. Seemed like it was something that had happened more than once. Possible that they got hold of Dennis. Everybody seems to believe that got hold of Gabe. Everybody seems to believe that he would not have deserted, as you say. And so we cannot think of any other reason why he would suddenly disappear.
Indeed not. And he sort of falls quiet again, and this new man who it would obviously not have been lost on you all, that though faded, he bears the face tattoo of a
Falcon.
yes, of a talon.
Talon sign.
You have services you can apparently provide to our children. Let's take some time to discuss it and see where we go next. If other words that are left hanging in the air as being at our appointed finishing hour, we will conclude tonight's session. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, a fair bit of movement, a bit of a different biome, a combat avoided via diplomacy.
With the
Who
good
knew?
guys.
Growth.
Real growth.
Gross.
Yeah, that concludes what session 13, I think, perhaps.
Think so?
I think it was session 13 of Fragments, a Demiplanes of Dread campaign.
We're in the Demiplanes?
A Falcovnia Field campaign. Yeah, I'm Harrison. I've been your DM tonight. I am not entirely certain if we will be here next week. I know that one of our number is not here. I will need to speak with the group, so you can find out on Twitter in the next day or so if we will be here. But if not, you can definitely find us in 2 weeks. I don't think I'm in any... Oh, the only thing I've got on this week is on Saturday. You can catch me streaming a one-shot, Prison of the Heraclex from Crucible Magazine. For some reason, I can't remember why, that's over on my personal channel. But you can catch me at Twitch / Harrison_stream is where you can find that. Yeah, it is a cool... It is. I will give you warnings now. All of the trigger warnings related to children. Child endangerment, child mutilation, child transformation, missing kids, spiders, heights, the dark. It's a spooky one. The kids don't do well in. But I think, yeah, other than that, you can catch me here Tuesdays, except maybe not next Tuesday. Oh, no, you can also catch me Saturday in Dark Echoes, which I'll let Luca Locke talk more about. But yeah, other than that, it's on to Jack.
Yeah, I'm Jack. I play Vanessa. Can't really find me in anything this week. But if you would be so kind, and if you're looking for another kind of spooky game to listen to, my home group, Black Project Gaming, has released the latest episode of our Impossible Landscapes Delta Green campaign episode. It's a fantastic campaign. It's very spoopy, as the kids like to say. And you should check it out. So, Black Project Gaming, you can find us on Apple, Anchor, Spotify, your mom's radio, whatever.
Mother!
Her ham radio, specifically.
Okay, thank you very much. Down to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex, the Mad Cartographer. You can find me at patreon.com/themadcartographer. Quickly signing off, like.
Oh, okay, and on to Luca.
Hi, I'm Luke Lack. You can find me back here Saturday for Dark Echoes, our Curse of Strahd campaign, and then on Sunday, Murder and Coffee, our GM talk show. We will be having on a very special guest for that, and then shortly after that is Basic Witches, a TPK Coven one-shot before coming back. Maybe not next week.
Don't you also have something over on Forbidden Arcana this weekend?
Yes, I do. Once More with Feeling, a one-shot done by Macarius.
If you get a chance to go and check this out over at twitch.tv/Forbidden Arcana, I've been in this one-shot before when Macarius ran it. It remains the single most emotional D&D experience I've had. It was an amazing one-shot. Don't spoil yourself.
So insulting.
Go and look it.
So insulting when you've got two people that have DM'd for you as well in this chat.
There
It's
is
true.
absolutely no way I'd cry more in that stream than I did in Bards of Rain as Bird. So it'll be fine.
But yeah,
I mean, ever to DM for any of you now, so the bar is too high.
Got it. Okay. But yeah, that's us. You can find us here hopefully next week, but if not, in 2 weeks and every week thereafter. But until then, welcome to TPK Roleplay. Quippy signing offline.